Hi everyone, this is video number 3, and it's our third and final video for week 2 of the Incredible Years. So, the topic for this video is called Persistence Coaching. So, still staying within our umbrella of descriptive commenting, we've done academic coaching, and now we're moving on to persistence coaching. Now, I love persistence coaching, and I think that this is one of the most underused, under-recognised strategies that we can use with children. And I think it's one of the most important life skills for them to be able to develop. And I suppose what what I kind of think about when I think of persistence coaching is I kind of put it in two camps. So one is, if you think about the word persistence, it means keeping going. So there's the element of keeping going with a task, even though it might be quite tricky, it might be quite difficult, and it links to that emotional regulation actually, because if you're finding something quite tricky and you're trying to keep trying to do something, they're the times when you might give up, you might get frustrated, you might get angry, you might go across the room, right, I've had enough, can't do it. So there's that element of keeping going, even though you've got to kind of hold that, keep your body calm to keep going with a task, even though you might be feeling frustrated, because you know that more that you practice it, the more you do it, you will A, eventually succeed, and B, it will start to get easier the more you practice it. So there's that element of it. The other element is concentrating. Because really, to be able to keep going with a task, you need to be able to concentrate, don't you? And this is so important for particularly for children who are really inattentive, hyperactive, you know, flit from activity to activity. It can naturally be really difficult for them to concentrate on things. I want you to think to when you're at school actually, how many times do you get told, right, concentrate, everybody needs to concentrate. Are you concentrating? Why aren't you concentrating? Like, concentrate, you get told you have to concentrate all the time. But children don't naturally know how to concentrate. How does it feel? What do they have to do? And how many times, particularly if you've got quite a hyperactive or inattentive child, how many times do you think they hear at home or at school, why can't you concentrate? Oh, he can't concentrate. He really struggles to concentrate. If you hear that all the time, you might not get told it directly, but they will hear it that they can't concentrate, you can't concentrate, you can't concentrate. Then when you get told to concentrate, how are you going to feel about concentrating? Are you going to feel positive that you can do it, that you know what you're doing, that you know what it looks like, what it feels like? Or are you going to think, oh no, I can't do that, so there's no point in me even trying because I know I can't do that. So this is why persistence coaching, particularly when we've got children, 3 to 8 years old, it's a massive skill for them to learn, and for actually for them to feel confident to do. Because if your child gets told repeatedly, you are concentrating, you are great at concentrating, that is some brilliant concentration there. Then later on down the line, when you get told to concentrate by a teacher, are you going to be feeling demotivated, like you can't do it? Or are you going to feel a bit like, concentrating, got you, I know what I'm doing here. Okay, leave it to me, guys. I'm the concentrating master. So with persistence coaching, we've got these two elements. So how do we do it? What do we say? How do we get them to do it a little bit more? As with the descriptive commenting, say what you see. If you see it, say it. So you're not going to tell them to do it. If you were to say concentrate or keep trying, keep going, actually what you're telling them what to do. You're giving them a command. We're not up to command yet. We're not going to give them any commands. You are going to describe when you see them doing something. And only you know when your child is concentrating. because you might have a child with ADHD who naturally has to wriggle about, naturally. But actually, by them being able to and allowed to wriggle about and fidget, they could be really concentrating on something because they are allowed to do that thing that is naturally needed in their body. So you might know that concentrating for your child might look a little bit different to another child, and that's absolutely fine. So what I want you to do is notice it. Notice when you see your child concentrating, focusing, trying hard, working hard, and all you're going to do is tell them that they're doing it. Because what they will then hear, if I was to say, you are trying really hard, you are so focused, you are really concentrating right now. What that transpires is in your head is, I am focusing. Oh, yeah, I am trying really hard. I am concentrating. The difference with coaching is it takes away from that external when you try hard, then great things come to you. It makes it really internal. It's a very internal thing, all of this. It links to your emotions, it links to your ability to be proud of yourself. You're doing it for you, you're concentrating for you. You are keeping going for yourself because you know, and I don't know why I'm doing that. I'm doing that because what I'm doing is I'm threading a needle in my head. Imagine you threading a needle and it's really hard. Okay, you're threading the needle. You've not got it in. You've not got it in. It's not working. How are you feeling? You're starting to, I'm going to just lower this. You're starting to kind of, that little knot in your stomach, the tensing in your jaw, furrows in your brow, like, come on, I need to thread this needle, and I'm getting a little bit frustrated. But you have that ability to regulate yourself. Some of you might not. Some of you might be, right, I can't do it. Someone else thread this blooming needle for me. But what we want children to learn to do, and it's part of their independent skills. So it's going to make life easier for you if you help them with their persistence, because if they can learn to persist with a task, they're going to learn those tasks and they're going to become more and more independent. So you're gonna keep on going, and the more you practice, you'll eventually do it. And when you get that success of threading that needle, oh yes, oh thank God for that. That's a nice feeling. That's a really nice feeling to have because no one else did it. You did it. You did it all by yourself, and you regulated yourself to be able to do it. Children need those opportunities to be able to experience that in small doses. Small doses. So if you've got that child who can't do anything for themselves or gets really angry and really frustrated, this is going to be amazing. And when we speak about emotion coaching next week, this links really, really nicely with emotion coaching. So, persistence coaching. What I want you to say is you are. If you were to say, let's go back to descriptive commenting. If you were to go back to those questions, are you concentrating? Your kid might look at you like you've got three heads, like, I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, I think. You are going to give attention to the concentrating. Think about that attention rule, the attention that you are giving upon that behaviour. You are giving positive attention to the behaviour of concentrating. Therefore, what they are going to manage to do is increase it just a slightly bit more. It doesn't work. Your child, by you just saying telling them that they're concentrating one or two times, is not suddenly going to make them be able to concentrate. It's not suddenly going to allow them to keep going with the task and not feel frustrated and not have a tantrum because they can't do something. This is a really gradual skill for them to learn. So I'm going to be saying you are concentrating, you are focused, you're really persisting. And for some of you might be thinking, do you know what? No, that word's too complicated for my child. My child is too young for that. If you don't say it, they'll never learn it, will they? And some of these words might not necessarily be in your natural vocabulary. That's fine. Go with what feels more comfortable. But also, try it yourself. Persist yourself with trying new vocabulary. So, persisting. You're really persisting with that. You are keeping going. Oh, you are so determined. That's not easy. That's a tricky task. And you are really determined to finish that puzzle. You are working, you are trying hard, and you are working really hard. If they hear you say you are working hard, what they're going to think? Yeah, I am working hard. You are keeping going. The difference between keep going is a command. You are keeping going. You're not telling them what to do. You are noticing what they are doing. It's making it internal to them. I am keeping going and I'm going to keep going for a little bit longer. Yeah, this is hard, but I can do it. I'm going to keep going. Working carefully, listening, paying attention. You are really paying attention. How many times do kids get told, pay attention, pay attention? You're not paying attention. What have I told you? Pay attention. If you notice that split second when they are paying attention, they are going to know what that looks and feels like inside, doesn't it? And you are taking your time. Sometimes when we're feeling frustrated with something, it's that physical element, your heart is racing, you get a bit of, that tightness in your stomach, your muscles might tense up. You might start to like hurry up with something like, oh God, it's not working, this thread won't thread. Whereas actually what you need to do, and you know that you need to take a deep breath, take your time. And by taking your time, things become a little bit easier. Then that sets them up to be able to succeed with that task a little bit better. So this week we are continuing with the not asking questions. However, there is in the email I will put a link to going back to the academic coaching, a link to the teaching loop, just in case you do ask a question. Don't worry, don't panic. It's okay. It's completely normal. But there's a nice teaching loop of how you can get around it. But with persistence coaching, that really key element. So what you've got to do, it's really important for you guys to spot your child concentrating. And that might be a split second. But what you would hope for is by noticing that split second when your child is concentrating or trying hard or really keeping going with a task, you are really keeping going. That one time they just try it one more time, even though it's really, really tricky, by paying that attention to that act of what they're doing, you might encourage them to either concentrate for a split second longer or just have one extra go. But what we know is that one extra go or that extra split second can turn into two extra goes, another second, another go, another second. And that ability to persist and concentrate with a task slowly increases. So this is a long haul thing, persistence, and this is why I always say it's one of the most important things I think children can learn, because, well, I've said it all. Okay, so that is persistence coaching. There are loads of notes in your handouts, and if I can give you one big tip, start every sentence with you are, you have. Okay, you are concentrating. You have got, so going back to academic coaching, you have got the red block. But with persistence, you are. Let's make it about them. What are they doing in that moment? And actually, it's making me think that by telling them something's not easy, like you are trying really hard, even that's really tricky. How might they feel? Because it is tricky for them. It might be easy for you, but if you empathise and really validate the fact that something is can be really tricky, how are they going to feel? Will they feel validated and listened to and oh, mum and dad really understand me? Like, yeah, this is hard, this. Yeah, thanks. This is hard, but yeah, I am keeping going. Thank you for noticing how hard this is. It can be really easy for us to go, oh, come on, go again. It's easy that. Come on, keep going. It's easy. You can do it. It's easy. It's not easy. It's tricky. Put yourself in their shoes. Really validate the fact that something can be tricky or hard or frustrating. But notice what is the internal thing. They're keeping their body calm even though they're frustrated, but they're really, really concentrating. They're really trying hard and focusing on what they are doing. Okay. This was a long one, but as you can tell, I'm very passionate about the old persistence coaching. And you guys are working really hard as well so far.